for my movie review speech. There's Mason,
Hi.
Emily,
Hi.
Jamie and Sparky, and Morgan. Oops, gotta move it up a little bit more. It's cutting me off. There we go. Have you ever heard the quote, "A dog is a man's best friend"? After listening to my movie review about Marley and Me and watching the movie yourself, I think that you will agree with this common saying. It has been said that having pets makes our lives better and that we are also happier and healthier. Please listen to my review of the movie Marley and Me and you can be the judge. Here's the movie Marley and Me, and here is the book. According to NewYorkTimes.com movie review Marley and Me by Stephen Holden, the movie Marley and Me opened on December 25th, 2008 and was based on the book by John Grogan, wrote by Don Roos and Scott Frank, directed by David Frankel, and is copyrighted by 20th Century Fox. It stars Jennifer Aniston and Owen Wilson as the main characters. They portray Jenny and John Grogan, and there is also Eric Dane, Alan Arkin, and Kathleen Turner. It also includes a cast of 22 different dogs that portray Marley from the time he is a puppy until adulthood. Marley and Me is a story about the ups and downs of pet ownership and the things that animals can teach us. I'm going to summarize the movie for you and give you my thoughts and opinions about this movie, in the hopes of persuading you to rent it and love it as much as I do. What is this movie about? You guessed it, pets and people. The story starts with a beautiful scene that shows snow falling on John and Jenny's wedding night. They decide then and there that they need to make a new start. So they move from Michigan to Florida for their careers and they begin their new lives. They buy a new home and continue their lives there. When Jenny starts to think about motherhood, John decides that he is going to go and buy a puppy instead. He takes Jenny to see the yellow lab puppy and they end up naming him the bargain puppy because he is the runt of the litter and he is so cheap. After they take him home, they ponder over a name for him and they finally decide on the name Marley. Marley ends up being anything but a normal dog. Marley wreaks havoc on their home and destroys everything in sight. He ends up getting kicked out of dog obedience school, barks and howls all night if there's a thunderstorm, overturns garbage cans, steals the Thanksgiving Day turkey, chews up their sofa, eats their drywall, drinks out of the toilet, chases the UPS man, consumes their pillows and flowers, and even eats an expensive necklace that John gave to Jenny. As the story progresses with Marley being out of control, John uses the chaos for his columns at work and really draws in his readers. John and Jenny decide to start a family. They endure a miscarriage and finally end up having 3 beautiful children over the course of a few years. Even though Marley creates a lot of craziness in their family, he sees the Grogans through a lot of ups and downs in their family life. New jobs, new homes, new cities, and as their children grow up. They end up moving to Pennsylvania, where John gets a new job and Jenny continues to be a stay-at-home mom. This part of the movie shows how Marley is aging and how his health is declining. He ends up having arthritis and begins to lose his hearing. He also has some gastric problems and that end up getting the best of him. He is not able to have surgery the second time that he gets these problems, and they must have him put down. John stands by his side as they put him to sleep and relives the past with Marley. Jenny is at home thinking about Marley also. This part of the movie was extremely touching and really broke my heart. They end up having a family burial in their front yard under a tree. They say a bunch of nice things about Marley. The kids put pictures in there that they have drawn, and Jenny gives him the necklace that he ate when he was a puppy. The movie ends sad and leaves you with tears running down your face. So make sure that you have a bunch of Kleenexes available when you sit down to watch this movie. Now that you have heard the summary of the movie Marley and Me, I would like to give you my thoughts and opinions on this movie. I feel that anyone that has ever owned or loved a pet should see this movie. It takes you through the ups and downs of pet ownership and the bonds that are formed between pets and families. It will provide you with moments of laughter and tears. My husband and I took our 5-year-old son to this movie, and we all loved it. Quite a few tears were shed by me and my family at the end when Marley died, but crying is a healthy way of expressing how you feel. This movie helped me be able to explain death to my son and gave him an understanding of how pets and people will come into our lives and also leave us, but that we will always continue to love and miss them. This makes me think about things that come into our lives and stay for a while and leave footprints in our hearts. Marley left a footprint in my heart, just like the deaths of my own pets have. This movie was very easy for my son to comprehend, and I would highly recommend it as a family movie. The language in the movie is appropriate for all ages and is very easy to understand. The content of the movie is sometimes directed more towards adults, but there isn't anything in it that would keep me from letting my young children watch this movie. My little boy has actually watched this movie on several occasions and still tears up every time that he watches it. The actors and actresses do a great job of portraying a fairly normal family, with a few disputes here and there, showing us that they are indeed normal. They take us through the ups and downs in their lives, the triumphs and losses, and show us how to appropriately deal with these issues. I thought the part where Marley sat beside Jenny after her miscarriage and acted like he understood what was going on was very touching. It is strange how animals can sense how we are feeling and seem to appear when we need them the most. In conclusion, the movie Marley and Me is a story about the ups and downs of pet ownership and the many things that pets can teach us. I hope that after hearing my summary and my thoughts and opinions about this movie, that you will rent it and love it as much as I do. The movie Marley and Me is sometimes sad and sometimes funny, but most of all it is very easy for people to relate to. For anyone that has ever had a pet, a dog, a cat, or loved a pet, I dare you to watch this movie and not think of your own beloved pet. It just isn't possible. This movie shows us why dogs are truly man's best friend. I hope it melts your heart the way that it has melted mine. As we part, think about the quote by Roger Harris that states that dogs are not our whole life, but they make our lives whole. There is nothing like the unconditional love, companionship, laughs, and loyalty that a pet will show you. This is my audience. Morgan, Jamie and Sparky, Emily, and Mason. You can cough, honey.